What if I told you that there are 10 simple things that can transform you into a truly unforgettable woman? I'm not talking about expensive clothes or perfect makeup. I'm talking about something much more powerful that comes from within you. Have you ever noticed how some women walk into a room and all heads turn? It's not because they're the prettiest in the room. It's because they have something special, a unique energy that draws people to them like a magnet. And you know what's even more amazing? That energy has nothing to do with physical appearance. For years, many of us believed that we needed to spend a fortune on clothes and treatments to be noticed. But the truth is quite different. The most remarkable women in history were not necessarily the most beautiful, but rather those who master the art of authentic presence. In this video, you will discover exactly what these 10 attitudes are that make all the difference. If you don't apply these tips, you may continue to be just another person in the crowd. But if you put into practice what I'm going to teach you here, your social life will change completely. Get ready to discover secrets that will revolutionize the way people see and remember you. Tip 1. Cultivate the power of genuine listening. The first thing that sets unforgettable women apart from the rest is their ability to truly listen. I'm not talking about simply staying quiet while the other person is talking, but rather practicing active and genuine listening. We live in a time where everyone wants to talk, but few know how to listen. When you develop this skill, you will automatically stand out from the crowd. Genuine listening means giving your full attention to the person speaking, asking relevant questions, and showing genuine interest in what they are sharing. Imagine you're in a conversation and someone starts telling you about a problem at work. Instead of thinking about your own similar experience to share next, you stop, look them in the eye, and ask them for details about the situation. You demonstrate empathy through your facial expressions and body language. This simple gesture makes the person feel truly seen and heard. The result is extraordinary. People start seeking out your company because they know that they can talk to you about anything without judgment. You become that special friend, that person everyone trusts. And the most interesting thing is that when you listen more, people also want to hear more of what you have to say. Practice this in your daily life. Put your phone away when someone is talking to you. Ask questions that show genuine interest. Use phrases like, "Tell me more about that," or "How did you feel in that situation?" You'll notice how conversations become deeper and more meaningful, and how people start to see you differently. Tip 2. Develop your own opinion about things. The second attitude that makes a woman unforgettable is having her own well-founded opinions. I'm not talking about being stubborn or inflexible, but rather thinking for herself and having positions on various subjects. Many people keep repeating opinions they heard on television or on social media without really thinking about what they think. When you develop the habit of forming your own opinions based on personal experiences and deep reflection, you become a much more interesting person to talk to. Let's say you're discussing a movie that just came out. Instead of just agreeing with what everyone else is saying, you can share your own unique perspective on the story based on your own life experience. Maybe you saw something in the narrative that others didn't, or maybe you have a different interpretation of the movie's message. Having your own opinions doesn't mean being contrary for the sake of it. It means having the courage to express your thoughts respectfully, even when they differ from the majority. This demonstrates maturity, intelligence, and a strong personality, characteristics that people admire and respect. To develop this skill, start questioning the information you receive more. Always ask yourself, what do I really think about this? Read different perspectives on the same subject. Talk to people who have different points of view than you. This will enrich your ability to form more thoughtful and interesting opinions. Remember, people remember those who have something original to say, not those who just echo what everyone else already knows. Tip 3. Practice the art of controlled vulnerability. The third attitude that makes a woman unforgettable is knowing how to show vulnerability in the right measure. This may seem contradictory, but vulnerability, when well dosed, is one of the most attractive characteristics there is. Controlled vulnerability means sharing your imperfections, fears, and insecurities authentically, but without putting yourself in a victim position. It's about being real and human, showing that you have challenges like everyone else, but that you're willing to grow and learn from them. For example, imagine you're at a gathering with friends and the topic is about personal challenges. Instead of pretending that your life is perfect, you can share a real challenge you're facing, but in a constructive way. You could talk about how you're learning to deal with anxiety or about the challenges of balancing work and life, all while showing that you're working to overcome these issues. This creates deep connections because people can relate to your struggles. Everyone has insecurities and fears, but few have the courage to admit them. When you show your humanity, others feel more comfortable doing the same, creating more authentic and meaningful relationships. The key is balance. You don't want to open up completely to everyone, nor should you turn every conversation into a therapy session. Controlled vulnerability means choosing the right moments, the right people, and the right depth for each situation. Start small. Admit when you don't know something instead of pretending you do. Ask for help when you need it. Own up to your mistakes without putting yourself down. These small displays of humanity will make people see you as real, courageous, and trustworthy. Now, I want to make a special request to you who have made it this far. If this content is being useful, help me continue creating videos like this by subscribing to the channel and activating the bell so you don't miss the next tips. And leave a comment telling me where you are watching from, because I love knowing that our content is reaching people all over the world. This really motivates me to continue. Tip 4. Keep your curiosity always active. The fourth thing that makes a woman truly unforgettable is to always keep her curiosity alive. Curious women are like magnets for interesting conversations and enriching experiences. They ask questions that no one else thinks to ask and show genuine interest in the world around them. Curiosity has no age. It doesn't matter if you're 20, 40, or 80. There's always something new to discover and learn. When you cultivate this attitude, you automatically become a more interesting person because you're always absorbing new information and experiences that you can share. Consider a social situation where you meet someone who works in a completely different field than you. Instead of asking the obvious questions that everyone else asks, you can show genuine curiosity about specific aspects of their work. Ask about the most interesting challenges they face, what motivates them most about their job, or about changes they've seen in their field over the years. This attitude of genuine curiosity makes people feel valued and important. Everyone likes to talk about topics they know about when they see that there is genuine interest on the other side. And the best part is that by showing curiosity, you also learn new things that enrich your own knowledge and experience. Curiosity also keeps you mentally young. When you stop being interested in the world, your mind starts to stagnate. But when you keep that spark burning, you're constantly stimulating your brain and expanding your horizons. To cultivate more curiosity in your daily life, start paying attention to the details around you. When someone mentions something you don't know, instead of ignoring it, ask more about it. Read about different topics, watch documentaries, talk to people of different ages and backgrounds. Each new piece of information is a seed that can generate fascinating conversations in the future. Tip 5. Develop the habit of giving sincere praise. The fifth thing that sets an unforgettable woman apart is the ability to give sincere and specific compliments. I'm not talking about those empty compliments that everyone gives, but rather genuine observations that show that you really paid attention to the person. Many people are afraid to give compliments because they think it will seem fake or self-serving. But the truth is that we all need recognition and validation. When you learn the art of giving sincere compliments, you touch people's hearts in a very special way. The difference is in the specificity of the compliment. Instead of just saying, "You look nice today," you might say, "That color of your blouse really brings out your eyes." Or, "I loved how you organized your presentation. It was very clear and to the point." Specific compliments show that you really paid attention and that your comment isn't just automatic. Imagine you're in a meeting and a colleague makes a really great suggestion. After the meeting, you might approach her and say something like, "Your idea for the project was brilliant, especially the part where you suggested breaking down the tasks into steps. This will make our work so much easier." This kind of specific recognition makes the person feel truly seen and valued. Sincere praise also includes acknowledging effort, not just results. When you see someone putting a lot of effort into something, even if the result isn't perfect, acknowledge that dedication. This demonstrates emotional maturity and the ability to see beyond the obvious. Just be careful not to overdo it. Too much praise can come across as insincere, and too little can make you seem cold or uninterested. The key is balance and authenticity. Give compliments when you really feel like it, and always be specific about what caught your attention. Start practicing observing the people around you more. Notice when someone does something well, when they change their appearance, when they demonstrate a special quality. And don't keep these observations to yourself. Share them naturally and sincerely. Tip 6. Cultivate the art of engaging storytelling. The sixth attitude that makes a woman unforgettable is knowing how to tell stories in a captivating way. I'm not talking about making up lies or exaggerating situations, but rather transforming common experiences into interesting narratives that capture people's attention. We all have stories to tell. The difference lies in how we tell these stories. An unforgettable woman knows how to take a simple, everyday situation and transform it into an engaging narrative that makes people laugh, feel emotional, or reflect on something important. The key is in the details and how you structure your narrative. Instead of simply saying, "Something funny happened at the supermarket today," you can start by creating context, describing the scene, and building a little suspense before getting to the main point of the story. For example, imagine that you witnessed an interesting situation while you were shopping. You can start by describing how you were feeling that day, what the atmosphere was like, who the people involved in the situation were, and then build up the narrative until you reach the most interesting or funny moment. This makes your listeners feel as if they are experiencing the experience right along with you. Good storytellers also know how to use dramatic pauses, changes in tone of voice, and facial expressions to bring their stories to life. They can make even a trip to the bank an interesting adventure to listen to. Another important characteristic is knowing how to extract lessons or reflections from lived experiences. When you tell a story and manage to connect it to something bigger, with some learning or insight about life, you raise the level of the conversation and make people leave the interaction with something valuable. To develop this skill, start by paying more attention to the details of your daily experiences. When something interesting happens, mentally or physically, write down the details that make the situation unique. Practice telling the same story to different people and see how they react, adjusting your narrative as needed. Tip 7. Demonstrate confidence without arrogance. The seventh thing that makes a woman truly unforgettable is balancing confidence with humility. This is one of the hardest skills to master, but also one of the most powerful when done well. Genuine confidence isn't about thinking you're better than others or trying to prove your superiority. It's about knowing your own worth, accepting your strengths and weaknesses, and presenting yourself to the world in an authentic way, without needing constant approval from others to feel good about yourself. A confident woman walks into a room without desperately trying to attract attention, but people are naturally drawn to her positive energy. She speaks clearly about her views, but also admits when she doesn't know something. She celebrates her achievements without putting down others. Imagine a situation where you are in a conversation about a topic that you are very knowledgeable about. An insecure woman might stay quiet for fear of appearing to be showing off, while an arrogant woman might monopolize the conversation in an attempt to impress everyone. A confident woman, on the other hand, will naturally contribute her knowledge, ask interesting questions, and give others the opportunity to share their experiences. Body language is essential in this equation. An upright posture, without stiffness, natural eye contact, expressive but not exaggerated gestures, and a genuine smile are elements that convey confidence non-verbally. People pick up on these signals unconsciously and feel more attracted to those who demonstrate this inner confidence. But be careful. Confidence doesn't mean never showing vulnerability. In fact, a truly confident woman can be vulnerable when appropriate because she's not afraid of being judged. She knows that her imperfections don't diminish her value as a person. To develop this balanced confidence, start by working on your self-awareness. Make an honest list of your strengths and the areas you want to improve. Practice talking about your accomplishments without putting yourself down, but also without bragging. Celebrate small victories in your day-to-day life and learn to accept compliments gracefully, simply by saying thank you instead of dismissing what was said about you. Tip 8. Practice emotional generosity. The 8th attitude that makes a woman unforgettable is the practice of emotional generosity. This means offering support, encouragement, and positive energy to the people around you, even when you yourself are going through difficult times. Emotional generosity isn't about giving money or material gifts. It's about giving of yourself emotionally, your time, your attention, your encouragement, your genuine presence. It's about being the person others turn to when they need a shoulder to cry on or words of encouragement. This may seem simple, but in practice it makes a huge difference. We live in a society where many people are focused only on their own problems and needs. When you can see beyond yourself and offer emotional support to others, you stand out in a big way. For example, if a friend is going through a tough time at work, instead of just listening and giving obvious advice, you can offer practical support. Maybe you can go on a walk with her to vent, or send her encouraging messages on her tough days, or simply be there consistently during this difficult time. Emotional generosity also manifests itself in the way you respond to the achievements of others. An emotionally generous woman genuinely celebrates the success of others without feeling envious or competitive. She understands that the success of others does not diminish her own chances of success. Another important form of emotional generosity is offering forgiveness and second chances. Everyone makes mistakes and can hurt others unintentionally. When you can forgive and move on without holding a grudge or bringing up the issue, you demonstrate an emotional maturity that few people possess. To cultivate more emotional generosity, start by paying attention to the emotional needs of those around you. When someone seems sad or stressed, offer your presence. When someone achieves something important, celebrate with them. When someone makes a mistake, be understanding. Small gestures of emotional generosity add up and create much deeper, more meaningful relationships. Tip 9. Always keep learning and growing. The 9th attitude that sets an unforgettable woman apart is her constant commitment to personal growth. Women who are always learning and evolving have a special energy that attracts people and inspires admiration. This doesn't mean you need to be constantly taking formal courses or reading academic books. Personal growth can happen in many different ways, through deep conversations, new experiences, reflections on past situations, or even through mistakes and failures that become learning experiences. What matters is maintaining an open and curious mindset about life. A woman who is constantly growing is not afraid to admit that she doesn't know everything, is not afraid to change her mind when presented with new information, and does not feel threatened by people who know more than she does about certain subjects. Imagine two women of the same age having a conversation. One has been talking about the same subjects for years, has the same opinions, the same habits, the same complaints. The other is always sharing something new she has learned, some interesting reflection she has had, some different experience she has had recently. Which of the two do you find more interesting to talk to? Personal growth also includes working on emotional and behavioral aspects, recognizing negative patterns in yourself, and making conscious efforts to change them, developing greater emotional intelligence, learning to better deal with conflicts and frustrations, cultivating patience, compassion, and wisdom. One beautiful thing about women who are always growing is that they inspire others to do the same. They don't do this in a preachy or superior way, but simply by example. When you are always growing, the people around you naturally feel motivated to invest in their own growth as well. To incorporate more growth into your life, set small personal challenges on a regular basis. This could be reading a book a month, learning a new skill, meeting new people, traveling to places you've never been, or simply doing activities that take you out of your comfort zone. The important thing is to keep up the constant movement of evolution and discovery. Tip 10. Cultivate a magnetic presence through authenticity. The 10th and final attitude that makes a woman truly unforgettable is genuine authenticity. This is perhaps the most important of all the tips, because it is the basis of everything we have talked about so far. Authenticity doesn't mean being rude or crude under the guise of being real. It also doesn't mean sharing all your thoughts and feelings with just anyone. Real authenticity is about knowing who you are, embracing your essence, and presenting yourself to the world in a way that's consistent with your values and personality. An authentic woman doesn't try to be someone else to please different groups. She adapts her way of communicating according to the context, but her essence remains the same. She doesn't need to wear masks because she feels comfortable with who she really is. Think about the most remarkable people you know. They are probably people you feel like you really know, who leave no doubt about who they are and what they believe. They may have flaws, they may make mistakes, but you know exactly who you are dealing with. This creates a sense of security and trust that is very attractive. Authenticity also includes having the courage to be unpopular when necessary. If you believe in something important, an authentic woman will stand up for it respectfully, even if not everyone agrees. She won't change her mind just to fit in, but be careful not to confuse authenticity with inflexibility. A truly authentic person is always growing and evolving, so their opinions and behaviors may change over time. The difference is that these changes come from genuine reflection, not from external pressure to conform. The magnetic presence that comes from authenticity is something that cannot be faked or copied. When you are comfortable in your own skin, people feel that energy and are naturally drawn to you. You become a safe haven in a world full of people trying to be something they are not. To cultivate more authenticity, start by taking an honest look at who you really are, what your core values are, and how you want to be remembered by others. Then work to align your actions and words with that essence. Stop trying to impress everyone and start focusing on being genuinely yourself. We have reached the end of our conversation about the 10 attitudes that make a woman truly unforgettable. As you can see, none of them have to do with physical appearance or material things. They all come from within, from your character, your personality, and the way you choose to relate to the world. The most beautiful thing about these attitudes is that they are accessible to anyone, regardless of age, financial situation, or any other external circumstances. You can start practicing these changes today in the small moments of your daily life. Remember that real transformation happens gradually. Don't try to apply all of the tips at once. Choose one or two that resonate most with you and start there. As these actions become second nature, you can gradually incorporate the others. You have all the potential to become a truly unforgettable woman. What you need to do is decide that it is worth investing in yourself, not only on the outside, but mainly on the inside, because it is from within that true beauty comes that leaves its mark and transforms people's lives. Now I want to know from you, which of these 10 attitudes do you most want to develop first? Leave your answer in the comments and let's continue this conversation. And if you like this content, don't forget to share it with other women who can also benefit from these tips. Together, we can become even more incredible versions of